Want us to, okay, we're recording, so I did that. I'm muting everyone, and all right. Well, we're excited to start a Tips from the Top. We're doing something that we haven't done in a while, and we're going to kind of do an all guys Tips from the Top panel, and I'm really excited about the two people who are also on this with me. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of go around the horn. And I'm first going to introduce our special guest. And we want to welcome, if anyone's on the Zoom from Drew's team and the Mahar downline, we're all the Mahar downline, but specifically their team, we want to welcome you on this Zoom. And thanks for letting us steal Drew for a little bit. But Drew Mahar is just, the Mahar family really is just an amazing family. The cool thing about this business is the relationships that you truly build in such a short amount of time. I mean, we've only known Drew and Danielle really since we've been in the business, not even 3 years, but it feels like we've known them forever. So Drew, I'm going to unmute you. And if you just want to kind of, they know your name, but tell where you're from, your time in the business, and anything else you want to share.
Cool. Can you hear me? All right. We're good. Yeah, we've been in the business for actually 5 years this month. I can't believe it's been that long. It seems like we just joined yesterday, but originally I'm from Washington State. Danielle's from Minnesota State. I met her, I don't know, I think she just said we've been together for like 13 years now, married for 10. And we recently, I guess 3 years ago, moved to Arizona. So we're in the Scottsdale, Phoenix area. Love it out here. It's nice and warm. And this business actually, allowed us that freedom to come out here. So we've been in with It Works for 5 years. I've kind of been around the industry for a little longer than that, just, trying to keep that dream alive, I guess. I never really had any previous success, but learned a bit along the way, and love It Works for everything they offer and stuff like that. So here we are. Awesome. Thanks for having me. I'm super grateful to have me on here tonight. Like you said, it's amazing the people that come into your life from this business. So we can't thank you and Sherry Lynn and Joey and Stacy enough for inviting me on tonight.
It's good to have you, man. It's so awesome. Joey, I'm going to turn it over to you if you want to just share kind of the same thing Drew did. So you're unmuted.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to see all the fellas on tonight. It's awesome, Drew. Good to have you on here, man. Thanks for taking your time out to be on here with us. But my name is Joey Alcala. John's older brother, even though a lot of people mistake him as older. I am older. From Dallas, the Dallas area. I'm about an hour south of downtown Dallas and in Waxahachie, Texas. Me and my wife have been in the business about 3 years, just about a month or two after John and Sherry joined. And so it's just an honor to be here. Like Drew was saying, when you fully realize what this company offers, man, it's just a fantastic, amazing ride and adventure. And it's cool to do it with friends and family and people that you really like. And so I'm glad to be on here tonight.
Awesome. Well, we're going to jump right in and what we want to do is we kind of want to, I think we've, in the past we've had kind of guys hop on and really talk about spouse's role and how to support, but we'll do a little bit of that. But really we want this Zoom to really be about how a guy either works the business, how a guy can be successful with It Works. Our team, it's been crazy to see in the last several months, just the number of males increase on our team. And so we want to make sure that, we cover all aspects of the business. And what I want to jump into first, and is we're going to kind of do a round table again, is as you saw on social media, we were going through all this hashtag because of It Works. And I've seen if you haven't just clicked on the hashtag because of It Works and you want to be inspired, there are just some amazing things, like some big, some small, but just so relevant to what we're doing. So I kind of want to do the same thing with Drew, with Joey, and myself. Joey, we'll start with you. I want you to just explain because of It Works what, and then I'd also like you to share really you're a product of the product, and just expand on how these products have changed your life. But start with because of it works.
Yeah, definitely. Because of it works, man, there's several things that come to mind. I guess, and most personal to me is I was sitting about 220 pounds. I'm about 5'11". And for me, man, that was just pretty heavy. I was never that heavy growing up, but I just hit a point where, man, I was just I just wasn't where I wanted to be. And what was awesome is that I started using these products, and it's easy to sell something that it works. It's easy to sell something that works. I now have been at 175 for the past 2.5 years. And for me, I could maybe lose 10, 15 pounds here or there. I could never sustain it. I like to eat. I'm not ashamed of eating. I can eat with the best of them. And I would stress eat. I do my job is meeting with people, speaking and eating. And it just seems like it's really easy for me to gain. But because of it works and just the products, I was able to lose weight. I was talking to Dr. Don at a conference down here that I have, because of the weight I've lost, man, I've added anywhere from 10 to 20 years on my life. And for me as a dad and as a husband, man, that's just something huge. And it's because of the products and because of the environment of health and the accountability I have that I've been able to lose that. And so I say because of it works, I've gained my health back. And I'm going to continue to move forward with that. Next year, I'm going to try out for the world's strongest man. And I think I can get that. Just kidding.
Joey, what are your top 2 or 3 products that you used in your what do we call it? Your health journey? Isn't that?
Yeah, by far, I would say ThermoFit has been huge for me. Take it at 10 and 2, keeps your metabolism going. I've never been one to overwork out. I don't work out a whole lot. I need to a little bit more. But ThermoFit Greens, Fat Fighter, and Cleanse have been my go-to since I started this journey. And when I get off of one of those, I can tell a difference. The Cleanse has become my best friend. I think I do that at least once a month. And it's been a game changer.
Yeah. Could everyone see that before and after picture? Did I do good on that? Do you want to see it one more time? Do you want to take a picture so that after the Zoom you can post that? But I don't know if that's compliant or not. That's why but there he is. Yeah. So I remember when Joey called me and he had told me he had broke 180, and it was the first time in me and Joey's lives that we actually, he was still in clothes out of my closet, and we were actually the same weight, and which is significant because I'm a short guy. I'm barely 5'9", and Joey's got a couple inches on me. So I was kind of jealous. He made me start working out because of that. But yeah, I think he probably weighs the same or less than me even now. So that's an awesome before and after. And Joey, don't get a big head, but you look kind of good. Okay. All right.
Thanks, man. I won't. I appreciate it.
All right. Drew, I'm going to turn it over back to you. And, what's your because of it works. But then, we had talked a little bit earlier, and you had alluded to it earlier that you had been in this industry before it works. And so I want you to kind of share what your because of it works is, but then, why it works actually worked over other competitors. Because I talk to you all the time, and the knowledge you have in this industry is awesome, but not everyone's privy to that. And so, just share that with us.
Well, I don't know if I'm too knowledgeable, but I appreciate the kind words. Joey, your picture might go viral after this, this Zoom too. Good work, buddy. To back up in my story, I guess, I'm in my early 30s. I have 4 kids. So I had our oldest is 11. So a young dad right out of the gate, didn't finish college. Danielle, my wife, she was in, graduating nursing school when we had him. So I was kind of in that mode. I was in the middle, I was playing junior hockey. I thought I was going to go play maybe college and continue trying to play pro. And it was at that moment where I was like, all right, I need to be a dad here for a second, not some kid that plays video games and hockey all day long. And so I started working, but I realized that that wasn't quite enough for me. I had some student loans already built up. So I had a friend I worked with, and he introduced me to this industry about 10 or 11 years ago. And I remember, just seeing an opportunity in this industry and just being like, that's what I need, because I can work and I can come home and like do whatever I need to do at home. And then I can also do a little extra, and it's flexible. No one's telling me when I have to do it, where, or who I have to do that with. So I was drawn to the opportunity, or to this industry, right away. That first company was a very well-known company. They do about 11 billion in sales worldwide still today. But there was just something missing with that. And part of it was that, Danielle was just graduating college, getting right into nursing. So she was kind of in her own career, and I was kind of, trying to make this stuff work. And they had way too many products. I think, it was almost like businesses within a business, where there's, they might have energy drinks. So it's like people just focus on that, or there's makeup, or there's home goods. It's just like all over the board. And then I started getting promoted in my career. I worked for Verizon Wireless, just in a retail store. So I kind of saw, the promotions happening within my career. So it kind of drew me out of that business a little bit after a year. And then all of a sudden another bill comes and something else. And that thought in my head is like, all right, I need some extra. Let's go find, another business. And I think what's great about It Works is, when I look back, I think part of it was the fact that, at home, when you're working it with a spouse, it is, you're trying to find where you each fit, and what do you like to do? What do they like to do? And try to connect and have a well-oiled machine, I guess you can say. So that was part of the journey. So some of it was personal side. Some of it, I think, was with the actual business we were a part of. So we tried a few other businesses. Some of them were my idea. Some of them might have been Danielle's idea. But then we came into It Works, and I was actually with another company at the time when Danielle said, I think I want to try these products. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I have all this right here, and you want to try those products? Like, so I was kind of caught off guard for a second. But then when she did, she was excited about it. And she's like, when she told me, she started as a customer. And when she told me, she goes, I think I'm going to do this. I was just stoked. Like, I was so pumped, because all those other businesses I tried, it was always kind of like bumping heads a little bit. And I knew the industry well enough to know, like, if we can do this together, and just, like, my passion for the industry, and I didn't really necessarily care what product it was, but I knew I had to be passionate about the product. So that's a plus for It Works, because I was super passionate about the products. They didn't have way too many of them where you didn't know where to focus. I mean, I think we have like 30 something products, which, you can break it down into the skincare, the healthcare, and stuff like that. So it's not too overboard. And then the timing of the company was a great time to join. Like I said, that other company was already well established. Some of the other companies were fairly new, that you didn't really know much about them. But what also helped me work It Works was our corporate team. Now, when I look back, nothing against all those other CEOs and whatever. Some of them were like, they took the family business over. Some of them they just had a bunch of money and they wanted to fund a business in this industry. But our corporate team, Mike, Pam, and Mark, they all built a successful business in this industry before starting It Works. And to me, that's huge, because they know what it takes. They didn't just break out a checkbook and pay other people to do it, or buy some, company that's already established. Like, they went out and did it. They didn't take a paycheck for a long time. And I had an aha moment when it was our very first event was Dash of, I think it was 2013. Sorry. or 2012, somewhere in there. We joined in 2012, but our very first corporate event was Dash, and it was at Mark's house. And I was having a conversation with Mark in his backyard, and he was telling a story about this other guy in a competing company that had come up to him at like a direct selling news event, because that's where all these companies join every few times a year. And he's like, Mark, I sat in the front row of every one of your meetings back when he was in that other business before It Works. And he introduced himself as a CEO of such and such company. I'm like, and Mark's telling me this story, not knowing anything about my background or the companies I've been with. And that was the company that I had just left to join It Works. So I was like, whoa, this is really weird that guy who I kind of looked up to learned everything from Mark Pentecost. So I was just like, I'm at the right place with the right people, and I know that this company is honest and they, run with integrity. So that was a huge reason why I think companies work in this industry. You can have a great product, but if you don't have the right kind of people in your business or in your life and in your company, it doesn't matter how good it is, because it's all of us that are the ones out there in the field sharing it with other people. But because of It Works, we paid off over I think it was $120,000 in debt that goes from cars to school loans, to credit cards, whatever it was. We are down to everything, other than our house. Because of It Works, I've left corporate America after 5 months of starting with It Works. We were triple diamonds at the time, and I walked away to allow, beforehand, Danielle was working Friday, Saturday, Sunday night shifts as a nurse. She would come home Monday morning at like 8 a.m. and I would go to work around noon. And then I was gone Monday through Friday. So we were working opposite shifts. We had 3 kids at the time. And it just wasn't an easy life. Like, we were raising kids alone, and we didn't want that. So it allowed me walking away, even though I got paid really well, just allowed her the free time during Monday through Fridays to work this business as she wanted, to do her thing. And then I'm also home doing my thing with the business, because I'm sitting there, cranking out customers and loyal or distributors, following up with people and stuff like that. Because of It Works, we've become a full-time family now. And, we're Ambassador Diamonds. We've earned some of those great bonuses and everything like that. But it allowed us to have a 4th child that she wasn't in the picture. Our 3-year-old just wasn't even a thought, because we just didn't know how we could afford it. How we're running, night and day, opposite directions, raising the kids basically as a single parent. How are we going to have a 4th? So it allowed her into our life, which is awesome. And she hasn't known any different. We've been home full-time parents with her since she's been born. It allowed us to move to Arizona. It's allowed us to meet great people and travel all over the world. What was it, last October? I forget the month. But it allowed us to go on a mission trip to Africa. And we have 4 sponsored kids out there with Children's Cup. Never in my mind did I think that was ever going to be possible. So it's a bigger picture than us. Like, we have great vehicles that get us from A to B. But it's all, it's the time with the kids. Like today, for example, kids are on spring break, and I just think of how much stress it would have caused us. Like, we try to keep our kids out of daycare as much as possible, and there's nothing against that. But that's just what we wanted to do if we can. Because sooner or later, we're not going to be cool to them anymore. They're not going to want to hang out with us. So with spring break this week, we spent the day at the park playing basketball, climbing on the playground and stuff. And then we went back and went swimming and grilled out. And now I'm at the hockey rink actually with the 2 boys for their practices. So, all hands on deck, I guess, at our house with the kids. So it's provided a tremendous amount of freedom for us.
Oh, that's awesome, Drew. I was about to sell you out and tell everyone you were at hockey, but you sold yourself out. So because of It Works, you can do your business while at hockey practice.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I think for me, always say this to our team, and I think I said it at conference, but because of it works, I go to work because I want to, not because I have to. And that's been kind of the most liberating thing for me is that, I hope I'm a better husband because I'm not stressed out about just paying bills anymore. I feel like I'm a better father. I'm a better employee for the company that I work for because I don't have to be there. I choose to be there every day when I wake up in the morning, and it works as just giving us freedom. We're building a dream home. We're actually going to get to keep the home that we live in as an investment, which is something that we had always dreamed of doing. We've been able to give so much to things that we've been passionate about. Sherry's always been passionate about orphans and human trafficking and even just people in our past that we've done ministry with who, maybe life hits them really hard and we have an opportunity to truly bless them in their time of need. And if it wasn't for this company, we would never be able to do that. And, I had Joey talk about the products and I had Drew kind of talk about, other companies previous to It Works. And I guess what I want to segue into is kind of how to deal with skeptical people about this industry. I mean, it's no secret that this industry, there's a stigma about the industry. It's unfortunate, but the reason for it is because there's a lot of people who have done it wrong. And kind of segueing on what Drew said is that we believe that It Works does a lot of things right. And what they do right is they value people and they put people first and they put getting out of debt first and they put changing lives first. And because they do that, they kind of, Apple kind of sells a lifestyle before they sell a product. And I believe that's what It Works is really good at. We're not like, hey, here, try a wrap. And, we have a bunch of products and join my team. Like, that's not a good sales pitch. But when you say, you know what, I was able to get debt free and I was able to come home to my kids and I'm getting to do some amazing things with people that I really enjoy doing life with. And by the way, it's all possible because of these products. You see how like that rings so different. And I think that's what really sets It Works apart is that we are able to truly, truly not just sell, but we're truly able to live in freedom and freedom of finances and freedom of community. Sometimes people like finances are good, but sometimes people just want to be bigger, a part of something bigger than themselves. And It Works offers that. And so, I always talk about like, especially male to male, we're so black and white sometimes, like we're not very emotional. And in this business, there's going to be opportunities where the spouse will be ready to jump all in, but it's the husband that always is kind of like, wait a second, let's slow this thing down. Like, what are we getting into? And I don't know, raise your hand like if you've ever run into that. You have someone who's really excited, but their spouse is like, yeah. So there's a lot. And so, what do I say to those guys? First, I try to get them on the phone because there's something about getting on the phone rather than a text, rather than a Facebook message, rather than an email. And I always just relate it to this, that it's a $99 investment and you're getting more than $99 back from day one. And you can literally walk away at any time. And there's something about just keeping it simple for a male in that sense, that they just want to know they're not getting took from the start. They want to know that there's an out if there needs to be. And so like, and then I just tell my story, like, Sherry wanted to try a box of wraps and it was either $59 for the wraps or for $40 more. If she got excited about them, maybe we'll give it a try, and now she makes more money than me. That's pretty easy sell. But I would say if you ever run into those skeptics, get them on the phone, like get them, one-on-one contact with them and say, listen, there's literally nothing to lose. And if they're still skeptical, ask them, say, what are you, what is keeping you from making the choice? Like, what is concerning to you? Let them share what their concerns are so that you can reassure them that, worst come to worst, like you're getting more immediately back than you're putting in. Like that's the best investment that is out there. Like if I told you, who's on here, I'll just use Karina. Is that you? Do I see you with your glasses? There you are. If I said, Karina, give me $1,000, and I guarantee you that the worst you will ever do if you give me $1,000 is I will give your $1,000 right back. Like, would you invest in that? Like you would if there's a possibility of a great reward. And that's what it works is. It's like you pay in $100, you immediately get that and more back. And guess what? You're starting from the ground surface. Like name one other business that's possible in. You can't do it. Like if you want to open a store, if you want to open a boutique, if you want to join, if people are like balancing between this company or it works, like put the investment in front of them. And a zero risk investment is always the best investment when you're starting from the ground up. And so there's our round table with that. And so what I want to move into really quickly here is like, how do guys blitz? Because let's face it, like you're probably not going to be walking around, and seeing females and saying, hey, you should really try these reps. Like, you could, but Drew might, but you get punched in the face. But that's probably not going to work. This business is different. Britt, I see you laughing. This business is different for males, but just because it is different doesn't mean it is more difficult. Like really, you have to think differently as a male in this business. And so first I'll go to Drew. Drew, like what is, one way that you don't make it weird, that you make and when I say blitz, that doesn't mean like shoving a card in their face or, throwing a rap at them or whatever. Like we know blitzing comes in all different ways. Like Drew, what are some of the things? Cause you enroll people, which is really awesome. I enroll as many as I can. I got like most of my office and some other people. But Drew's doing it full time. So Drew, what are some like, one blitz or, two blitz tips that maybe you could share?
Well, I think a big part is being branded.
Mm-hmm.
This is all I wear. So that's my wardrobe. I wear it everywhere. And, chances are someone will bring it up or ask a question. But I know like I'm going to kind of go back to the person that's maybe a new guy because I know how that was. And I remember the same thoughts like, man, they're going to think I'm offending them. I'm too nervous. I feel like they're going to like snap back at me. One thing I would do, whether you're married, have a girlfriend, make it up if you don't. My wife's paying me to hand these coupons out. And if they try to hand it back, just be like, oh, give it to a friend, like I'm just passing these out. I love Joel Dunn's line about, saying it's Customer Appreciation Day. Guess what? Every day is Customer Appreciation Day. So that's just a few easy tips. You go into a clothing store to buy something. I used to take the Blitz card out and just point to the green because everybody's like, hey, how can I help you today? I'd say, do you have anything in this color green? And like give them the card so they can look at it. And then they start asking questions. They try to give it back. And I just be like, oh no, that's a coupon. You can keep it. It's a coupon for my company. Every time I go into a clothing store, they're like, you going somewhere? What's the occasion? So it's really easy to think of some of those one-liners right away. But I feel like the biggest thing is having a Blitz card in your hand or your pocket. Because I know I've done it too, that there's times where I'm like, dang it, how do I bring the conversation back up again? Because you missed your opportunity. But those are just a few quick tips for like the newest person. Mm-hmm. I think a great thing is blitzing. You could, we're in a new city. Like, honestly, we've been here for 3 years, but we didn't move here knowing anybody other than It Works people. And there's a decent amount in Arizona, but all of our friends, hockey teams, all the parents, all the kids at school, we're in a brand new school system. So, volunteering into stuff, I know some people are like, oh, I don't want to go, do the field trip and deal with a bunch of second graders or whatever, but wear a shirt, wear a hat, and they're going to see like, oh my gosh, there's a dad here. Like, who's this guy? Like, how does he have time to do this? So getting involved in the kid's life that way, I think has helped us not only, it might not be a payoff right that second, but people, they start seeing it over and over and over. You become friends on Facebook. Your kids start playing together. Anytime I drop the kids off for a play date or whatever, I guess they call it hanging out now, play dates for like little kids. I always give them a business card so they have my phone number in case they have to call me if there's an issue. So it's like, oh, here's my phone number on here. And I give them I have big Blitz cards and I have little business cards that have the before and after on it as well. So,
that's a really cool idea. Like to have the smaller business cards and use those we do that in the corporate, world all the time, but it's like, why is it any different with this business? And it's actually even more relational because it's like for a reason, hey, here's my cell phone number, put it in your phone, and then they have the card. That's really cool. Those are good tips. Those are real good tips. Joey, what about you? What are some of the ways that you've been able to, blitz people or reach out to people about the business?
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, it's, really it's wearing the stuff. I mean, I don't hardly, unless I'm, needing to be dressed up in a suit jacket or something, I'm wearing this, I'm wearing the brand, the sign. And then also my blitzing kind of comes where I'm always aware and thinking, could this person, how can I get this person attached to Stacy's business or help her? And I'm constantly funneling people her direction. I don't know the ins and outs like she does, but I can use my strengths, which is relationship and connection, to push people her direction. Some of Stacy's biggest, I guess some of her core team that it's changed their life has been because I've mentioned to the husband, hey, your wife would be phenomenal at this. You need to have her talk to Stacy. And I'm constantly blitzing and pushing that direction, being very strategic and understanding that my job is to send people her way, because if they can get in front of her, if they can hear specifics, they're going to join because it's a no-brainer. And then also just being really open about what it's done for us. I mean, it's easy to bring it up in conversation, or, hey, what have you been up to? Well, we just got back from, Tampa. We were at a conference. We're going to Dallas, training this weekend. We're going to New York 2 weeks from now, which is huge. You're saying in 3 weeks we're going to Tampa for something else. So constantly bringing it up in conversation, wearing the gear, and then also strategically always thinking, how can I push people and funnel them into the business? Because when you're aware of it, things change. My pastor always talks about when 24 first came out, it was I think a black Suburban that he drove. And he was like, or a Tahoe, a black Tahoe before. And he was like, man, I wanted a black Tahoe because he drove it. And he goes, man, as soon as I drove it off the lot, I saw 30 of them. And the reason why he saw 30 of them was because he was aware of it. He was looking for it. And so as men, what we can do is always be aware and cognizant and looking for business partners, connections that we can funnel and move forward to, and just be open about talking about it. And man, it's been a game changer for us.
No, that's awesome. I guess Joey kind of stole part of my tip, which is good. It makes me switch up to another one. My tip comes from, like, if you're a guy on this and you work other than it works, like you go to a job, raise your hand. Yeah. So there's a lot. So the biggest tip I could give you, like, honestly, I could tell you in the room I work in, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. There was 6 at one time. Every one of them is a loyal customer. And how did I do that? The only product that I take at home is when I'm doing the cleanse. I set my bottles out and I do it on the way out the door, and then I do it before dinner. But that's only 2 days, a month that I'm doing that. Every product that I take, it is on my desk. Like, it is in the fridge in the break room. Like, I don't hoard energies. I take like 8 at one time and I put them in the refrigerator. And if someone's like, man, I'm really, I'm just feeling like, like dragging today. You know what I do? I walk my butt into the break room. I grab an energy and say, man, these are the greatest things ever. And they're healthy. Like they're the healthiest energy drink that you could ever try. Or if it's, females and they're females are typically more skeptical about energy drinks. You know what I do? I pull out a packet of greens and I walk in there and I fill up a cup. If we have juice in there, if we have water in there, I'll throw berry greens. I'll get it ready for them, and I'll say, "Hey, you should really try this. It's your fruits, it's your vegetables, and it's got green tea extract that's going to give you energy." And I take my vitamins at my desk. I take Thermofit at 10 and 2. I lied. I take New You at home. I forgot, but that's late at night and early in the morning, so no one would see that. But that's what I would tell you to do. Like if you're a male and you're working an 8 to 5, those are your easiest customers. You know why? Because nothing has to truly even be said. You make it a part of your life. You make it a part of your daily routine. Some of you guys, you work out like crazy. You get awesome results because you work out, but if you're supplementing that with our products, like that is such an easy conversation. Someone's going to ask, how often do you work out? And I say, I work out 3 times a week. And man, I just started, I don't care if you've been taking it for a month or 6 months. I just started taking this product called New You. It helps me sleep better. It rebuilds my muscles after a tough workout. It takes away soreness. That's my tip. It's like a blitz doesn't have to be like you pound them in the face with product. It's incorporate it into your daily life. Like put it in front of them where they see the green. The coolest thing about our branding is like green is so obvious. And so like when you have a big neon box of greens on your desk, like they're going to be noticed, when you're drinking an energy drink, they have a specific look to them that's not like a Red Bull or like a Coke or whatever. They're very different. There it is. They're just so obvious. So incorporate those into the job that you're going to every day. And then, like I said, I heard someone say it like, if you're a male and you do come across the opportunity where they do want to try the wraps, it's only weird to talk about if you're weird talking about it. This is a horrible example, but I'm going to use it. But at our age and with Sherry and everything, it's like we have a lot of moms on here. Like for a guy to talk about breastfeeding is weird only if the guy is weird talking about it. But if it's totally a normal thing, because my wife breastfed both of our kids, like if we can make that normal, I'm pretty sure we can make pushing a wrap normal, and not that it's abnormal. Don't say that, but it is a tougher conversation for a male to a female, but it's only tough if you make it tough. And so like if you have those opportunities where female clients come to you asking about the wrap, you've got to be confident and say, oh my goodness, like I have so many clients, female and male, who are benefiting, not, they're they work really good, like if you're confident, they're going to be all in. If you're hesitant, they're going to be hesitant. And so those are the tips I have for you is like, make the products a part of your life. And then when you do get those wrapping opportunities, because that is like the flagship product, you're going to make a lot of money off the wrap. Just be confident. Did you have something to say, Joe?
What's funny is I love the wrap, and I lose 2 to 4 inches every time I use the wrap. And me using the wrap gives my wife ammo to talk about it to everybody. And so not only does it work for me, but when I use the product, when I have the energy and I'm taking it to work, when I'm using greens, it helps our spouses as well. And I don't want to jump too far ahead, but when you use the product, that gives you an opportunity and your spouse an opportunity to say, hey, my husband lost 40 pounds. He lost 45 pounds. Hey, he loses two inches, and no guy is going to get mad, and not want to lose the 2-inch donut, that he's got going on. Use the product because it gives ammo for our spouses as well.
If I was Joey, I would just like get that before and after screened on a t-shirt and just wear that every day. Like I might do that and sell them. They're for $20. No, I'm just playing. Okay, so no, that's awesome. We have like another 15 minutes. I hope this is helpful to all of you. But we're gonna move into something that we just want more than anything. We want all of the males to understand, like, you can work this business. Like it's no different than working any other business. It's just you have to find the way it works for you, and you have to find your niche, and you have to find the products that you're sold on. And whether it's the system, whether it's new you, whether it's the wrap, whatever it is, like, once you find your niche and the thing you're passionate about, this business becomes second nature to you. And so what we want to do in kind of closing, we have 2 more sections. We're going to go in 3 parts. We're going to talk about in the field, we're going to talk in the workplace, and we're going to talk about in the home. And so what that means is I'm going to have Drew talk about a male It Works distributor that is in the field, how he's full-time, he's out there, he's doing it, touch on social media a little bit. I'm going to talk about in the workplace because I still work a current job. And then Joey's going to talk a little bit more about, like, maybe you're a spouse on this Zoom and you don't really know how to help your spouse, but you want to, or you're trying to figure it out. He's going to touch on those. So I'm going to turn it over to Drew. He's going to talk about in the field and, anything else you want to talk about, Drew. And I will say this, Sherry gave you a shout out on the ambassador page, because if you go to Drew's Facebook, like, he truly is one of the best male social media posters that is in this company, because they're thoughtful and they make sense. And so, Drew, maybe let's start there, because there's a lot of guys who are just getting started and like, how do you post on social media without it being, weird or salesy? Because you do a good job at that.
I appreciate that. I think part of it is there was a point where I was using the products. I'm home full time. The only people seeing me use them are my kids. So there's a problem. Like, if I want to draw attention to it, you look at the people that prep their meals and they eat healthy, and they have all this food that they take every single picture of their meal. I was just like, well, I should maybe start posting some pictures about what I'm taking. And I don't try to blast it out there like, hey, you need this. I just kind of do what they do. I might have if it's a breakfast and it's a shake, and maybe I'm taking some supplements with it. I try to make just like a little picture of what I'm doing. And there's one thing that I always try to post with each product. So, like, if it's ThermoFit, I use a few emojis in there to draw attention. It, adds some color in the text, which is always catching someone's eye. I try to be funny with those too occasionally, like, if you can. I don't try to come as a salesperson. And let me back up for a second, because this is actually happening right now in my life. We're looking at our car, and we're looking to maybe, get something else. And back when I sold cell phones, I sold a lot of phones. I did fairly well in my store. And they're like, what do you do? I'm like, I don't try to be a salesperson. I just don't. Nobody likes to be sold. You have to try to make it their idea. And right now, actually, my phone's been blowing up for the last 4 days because I stopped in to look at a car once. And it's just not stop. Like, I get it. They have quotas and all that. But I'm like, man, it kind of pushes you away. Like, space it out a little bit. But I don't try to sell people on the product. I try to show them how I use it on a daily basis. And I don't post every single day or not every single post is a product post. I just try to work it in there. And like, for example, right now I can think of relief was huge for me in my knees, because playing hockey, it really hurt. So I can throw a post out there about relief or about me playing hockey and how this has helped. And then at the bottom, I always try to, if you go to your website and you click on a product, it will give a brief paragraph about what it is. And then underneath, there's like 3 or 4 bullet points I actually just copy and paste those bullet points, and then I'll post them in that post. And instead of like a little dot for the bullets, I'll use like an emoji kind of to call out each thing. And I think that really helps people see it's not a big, huge, like 2-paragraph post. It's just a few sentences about what it's helping me with. And then it gives them 4 or 5 nuggets of like, it helps this, this, and this. And then they can generate that in their head right away and be like, oh man, I think I need that.
Yeah, here, Drew, let me show them that, because this is what you're talking about right here, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
And you can take a little bit of what is said under each product in the paragraph and just reword it, make it short. But then, yeah, I'll just highlight those little bullet points if I can, and maybe not use all of them. Maybe it's 2 or 3 or whatever. That's how you don't have to know everything about every product. Mm-hmm. I don't. I mean, I know just from doing that, I know when someone says, man, I need to build muscle. I'm like, all right, Shake or ProFit. They need to lose weight. I got ThermoFit Fat Fighters. Like, I don't know, like, what I still can't even say it, but like the acai berry or the cactus whatever in Fat Fighters, like I can look that up. I can get them more information, but you don't have to come across, like, you don't have to have a PhD in our products.
Yeah.
Just, give a little brief explanation here and there and draw some people in. So, building customers and distributors like in the field, at this point in my life, I've just made it a way of life. When I used to work, actually, I worked with the same company and the same group of people 10 years ago when I first started this industry. We had 3 or 4 guys in our office that would all take off the same weekend to go to our corporate events like conference and stuff. So everybody for the last 10 years knew I was in this industry in one way or another. So I let them sit and watch, basically, because it was, once we started It Works, I'm like, I'm not approaching them again. They're going to see my can as soon as I walk in the door. I'm going to have my energy or my shake or whatever, and they're going to ask questions. So now it's just like a way of life for me. At the hockey rink, early morning practice, I got my energy. I'll bring a shake in, or I'll do, the shaker cup with greens and water. And then I play men's league hockey, so I'll do greens before, and then post game, I'll fill it up and have the little can with shake mix, and then shake that up and drink that after, or whatever, however it works. And that just draws attention, just in my daily routine. Like, I'm going to do it anyways. Instead of trying to do it at home, like in front of just my kids, it's hard for us to get out of the house to do other things other than the grocery store and running kids around. So I got to figure out a way to make people curious as to what's that green drink in your bottle. Like Danielle, she'll have the huge Smart Water, and it's all green, and she just sips on it. She drinks things super slow. She'll drink it like all afternoon, but you just got to make people aware, and they'll start asking questions. And that's kind of how, an indirect way of signing customers and distributors.
No, that's really, really good. So that's in the field. Those are things you can do in the field. I was going to do in the workplace, but I just realized that I did in the workplace in our last spiel. So I'm just going to skip that. And I'm going to go right into Joey, and I'm going to let him talk about in the home. And Joey, you work a full-time job at a church, and but at the same time you do support Stacy in her role. But what are some things that you notice? Like, I mean, Stacy's presidential diamond. She's pushing for ambassador right now. What are some things that a spouse can do to help their wife who's in the business? What are some things that maybe some adjustments you had to make?
I feel like a lot of what we as spouses can do is be a support. And there's a lot of ways you can support. I think the biggest way we can support is with our attitude. Attitude can make or break a business or a company. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. Attitude, man, changes so much in so many things if you come in with a healthy perspective and mentality. And so what I really try to do is be an encouragement to my wife and constantly encourage her on the good times and the bad times. Business is business. You're going to have ups and downs, but the best thing I can do as a spouse is encourage and be a support to her, and always speak life. If we want to get go with the word of God, it says there's power. The power of life and death is in the tongue. So I can either bring life to her business or I can tear it down. And as guys, it's really important to say, man, you're doing phenomenal. Hey, I see how hard you're working. And that was a really great post. Hey, I'm really, I'm impressed by, how you're growing. We as men can support and be an encouragement and also bring perspective. We see an outside perspective, and in the home, we can bring a perspective that maybe they're in the day in, day out, we can bring a healthy perspective to that and celebrate with her. Man, really celebrate and small accomplishments, big accomplishment. Man, hey, you got an LC today. Awesome. Hey, 2 distributors this month. Way to go, babe. And what I can do is lift her up and encourage her, because the world and everyone else is really great at tearing people down. It's called the poppy seed syndrome. A poppy seed farmer, if a poppy seed starts to grow above average, they have to cut it down because all the poppy seeds around it will grow weird. They'll grow. And so what the world tries to do is cut people down who are going above and beyond. The last thing I want to do for my wife is cut her down. I want to build her up. I want to encourage her. I want to be her biggest fan, because she's worth it, and that's my job. And not give her an out. Don't let her quit. There's times when she wants to quit. There's times that are hard, but man, she is stuck in there, and the benefits we're reaping as a family are just, I could never imagine. You've heard Drew say it. You've heard John say it. Just the freedom, the friendship, the financial gain, the giving that we've been able to do. And who am I as her husband in the home not to encourage that and celebrate that and be excited about that? And then lastly, I would say in the home is don't let her compare. I really believe that comparison is one of the biggest enemies, period, but especially for your spouse, your girlfriend, your fiance, your friend. Don't let Stacy compare to other people, because when you get in the comparison game, you're in trouble. But I just let her know her journey is her journey. Her goals are her goals, and she's doing phenomenal. And I'm going to be an encouragement. That doesn't mean you don't face reality, but it does mean, man, just bring encouragement, a great attitude, a different perspective. Don't let her quit. I always say, babe, we're not going to quit. We're in this for the long haul. Let's do it. And to see what she's done and how she's flourished and how she's grown, man, as a husband, I couldn't be prouder. It's something that's healthy for her and her to grow. She's killing it. And I want to be a part of that by the words that I speak, how I help her grow and develop. And because of that, it's changed our family. I can't even begin to tell you what it's done for us. And it can do the same thing for you as well.
No, that's awesome. And I'll just add to that, like one of the things I had to learn, and I learned probably the wrong way, is a lot of times, like with this business, you think it happens overnight. And, I always say I haven't started a business, but I did start a ministry from practically nothing. And it took me a year or two to actually, grow it from 12 people to, 50 or 60, much less 100 or 200. And so understand that they are starting a business, it's a business. And so you need to have some grace in that time frame and understand that, as much as you want it to happen in 2 weeks, like you're starting a business from the ground up, and anything you start from the ground up is going to take time. And, I'll just tag to that. The deeper you get into this business, stay away from month end. Don't be planning dates on month end. It's not going to be good. It's never going to be good. I bought a car on the last day of the month, and that was not a good decision. So just, be sensitive to that. And then, ask them, how is there anything I can help with, because sometimes there's not much you can help with. They just want to know that, if there's little things, but you know what, maybe it's, hey, can you just run the kids to Chick-fil-A and go grab a bite to eat with them so I can contact these five new people about the business, or whatever it is. Find ways that don't directly help the business, but could indirectly help the business so that they are free to work their business in a really, really good way. And so we have 2 minutes left. And so I'm going to ask Joey and Drew one more question. So Drew, you're first. Firing squad. What would you say to the guys on this Zoom that really want to be successful in this business? What would you tell them?
I would just say, find a leader that you want to follow. It might not be your direct sponsor. It might be Joey or John. Like, these guys are awesome. Find that person, find the path you want to take and you want to be like. I follow Joel Dunn a lot because I just like his integrity and his honesty, and he's hilarious. But don't quit. I mean, be willing to be a student of this business. You're not a pro. I'm not a pro. Like John said, it's not going to happen overnight. So just focus and take step by step and become a student of the business.
Awesome. Joey, what would you say to the distributor that is doubting that they can hit the promotion they're really fighting for this month?
I would say just don't doubt yourself. Take responsibility for your business, man. This is your business. You're in the situation you're in, and you can control that situation. And the way that you control it is that you go for it. You work hard. You do what it takes, put the time in, and it'll come back to you. But you're in control. You are ridiculously, crazily in control of your business. Take control of it. Work, push through, and quit wasting your time doubting, and put that energy into believing that you can achieve it, and you will. But you have to put work behind it, because you can wish it all you want, but until you put consistency and work in, you'll never obtain it. But you can do it. Don't doubt it. Take control, and man, you can do so much more than you could ever imagine.
I just want to touch on one more thing really quick. Exactly what Joey was saying about when he speaks that positive life into Stacy at home. You guys, do that within yourself as well as your team. When you're going for those promotions, you're breathing life into those people, and you'll just see everybody come together, and it does amazing things.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, guys, that's going to wrap us up. I want to encourage you. What are we? We are, it is the 14th. We got paid a day early. That's pretty awesome. But, man, there is 17 more days in this month. And if you're going for a promotion, I challenge you, work 30 more minutes tonight. Message 5 more people. Message 10 more people. There's momentum. It's exciting. Understand that you are here for such a time as this, that it's not coincidence that you're here. You've been prayed onto this team and into this business over 2 years ago, and we're praying for the ones that are still coming. And you're here for a reason. The Lord's going to do amazing things through your life. But understand that when he does it, it's not just for you. It is for everyone who comes after you. And yes, this business is going to change your life. But when you understand that it's bigger than yourself, it's bigger than your paycheck, it's bigger than your needs, and it's about bringing thousands of people on an adventure with you and changing their lives, that's when the fun really begins. Don't chase a paycheck, chase people's lives, and I guarantee you it's going to be the adventure of your life. So thank you guys so much. Y'all have an awesome, awesome night. Go get those promotions. Drew, thank you so much. Joey, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all. Go fast. Get those bonuses.
Do it.